Okay, good evening, my dear friends. Welcome to today's session. Nice evening. We are meet here in the faculty exchange program. This is Padala Tirupati. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
This slide is visible. The screen sharing screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is Padala Tirupati, Assistant Professor, Department of Botany, Government Degree College for Women, Jagitial. Today we are going to discuss one of the most important area in the entire molecular biology, that is gene expression. Okay, today we are going to discuss about gene expression. So, gene expression, it is the process by which a gene's DNA sequence is converted into the structures and functions of a cell. Whenever our body or human being or any living organism or unicellular or multicellular organism needed some different functions. So that functions is organized by or coordinated by or controlled by our genes, nothing but DNA. So the DNA sequence is converted into the structures and functions of a cell. So this is nothing but gene expression. So in this process, along with the DNA, the non-protein coding genes are not translated into proteins. Then the genetic information chemically determined by DNA structures is transferred to daughter cells by DNA replication and expressed by transcription followed by translation. So in the gene expressions, how many multiple complexes or multiple steps are involved in the gene expression? Through this slide, we are observed that the genetic information chemically determined by DNA structure is transferred to daughter cells by number one, DNA replication and expressed by transcription, followed by translation. So these are the three steps are involving this gene expression. Okay, am I clear this slide? Okay, then this series of events, what are the series of events? DNA replication followed by DNA, that means transcription, and then translation. So these series of events is called central dogma. So this central dogma clearly explains about the DNA which are transcribed or modified into the useful forms or from different functions. Okay, so the central dogma is found in all cells and proceeds in similar way. But one of the exemption is that we know that some of the retroviruses, retroviruses, that is HIV and what we can say that now we are facing the pandemic situation, the causing which virus?
Coronavirus.
Yes, novel coronavirus, that is SARS-CoV-2. So this virus is also contain this belongs to retroviruses. So which these retroviruses possess an enzymes that is reverse transcriptase. So reverse transcriptase which converts RNA into cDNA. cDNA means complementary DNA. So this complementary DNA is formed from RNA. It is converted from RNA. So that's why this entire process we can call as reverse transcription. So this is exemption of the central dogma theory. Okay, so central dogma is clearly explains about how the DNA replication takes place, followed by transcription, then translation. These three series of events, it continuously goes on of all living organisms. Some of the exemption in the organisms of the retroviruses. Okay, so this biological information flows from DNA to RNA and from there to protein. So the central dogma is clearly explains about how the information from DNA to RNA, afterwards RNA to proteins. Okay, so this image shows about the clearly explain about the central dogma of life. See here, this is a DNA, double stranded DNA. Generally, we know that. So DNA to DNA, that DNA to another daughter DNA is produced that we can call as a replication process. So replication means duplicate. Replica means duplicate. Am I audible? Replica means what you understood? Duplicate. Replica means they duplicate. So DNA is going to duplicate to produce the daughter DNA in the process of replication. That is DNA replication. So DNA replication takes place in nucleus in eukaryotic living organism, whereas cytoplasm in prokaryotes. We know that. At the same time, from DNA to mRNA is synthesized. DNA to mRNA synthesized. This process we can call as transcription. So this transcription takes place in nucleus in all eukaryotic living organism. But whereas prokaryotic living organism, it varies. That means the DNA to RNA or the transcription takes place in prokaryotic living organism is also in cytoplasm. Okay, because there is no definite nuclear membrane or nuclear structure we are observed in prokaryotes. So that's why DNA replication is also takes place in nucleus, even though transcription process, which means DNA to synthesis, mRNA synthesis is also takes place in nucleus region. That process we can call as transcription. Afterwards, this mRNA or RNA is going to produce our synthesis, that is the protein synthesis. This RNA to protein synthesis definitely process in cytoplasm, all living organism, not only the eukaryotes but also prokaryotes. All the living organism, the translation process takes place in cytoplasm only. Okay, so this entire series of the events we can call as central dogma of life. A central dogma theory is clearly explained about the how replication takes place, then only transcription, then only translation. These are the series of events we are observed in all living organism, whether the plants and animals, eukaryotes or prokaryotes, whatever it may be. But the central dogma is clearly explains. The exemption of the central dogma is reverse transcription virus or reverse transcriptase enzyme contain viruses or reverse transcription viruses is exemption from the central dogma of life. I hope you clearly understood this slide. Okay. Then the gene expression is a multi-step process which involves, we know that is the replication, transcription and translation. Is it clear? What are the steps are involved or multi-steps are involved in gene expression? Anybody? Respond. No? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the series of events are replication, transcription, translation.
Transcription, translation.
Very good. Then the first step, that is the replication of DNA. Very quickly we are going to discuss here, because I hope you clearly your learned in previous classes, but so a little bit of information we will add up, recapitulate ourselves. Okay, so replication of DNA. What is the meaning of replica? We have already learned about replica means duplicate.
Complementary.
Complementary or duplicate. So it is a process in which DNA copies itself to produce identical daughter molecules of DNA. Identical daughter molecules of DNA. So in this process, DNA strand are, we know that DNA is double-stranded DNA. We know that, and they are arranged anti-parallelly. Double-stranded DNA, spherical nature, but they are arranged anti-parallel and complementary nature. Okay, so each strand can serve as a template for the reproduction of the opposite strand. So DNA contains two strands that we can know. We know that double-stranded DNA, two strands each strand between these two strands, each strand act as a template for the reproduction of the opposite strand. Just because we know that this DNA strand is act as a template for the reproduction of the opposite strand. So in this replication, according to our scientists, replication of the DNA is three types. Number one, conservative method or conservative method of replication of DNA. The second one is semi-conservative method of replication of DNA. And the third one is the diffusion method. Diffusion. So diffusion method of the replication of DNA. So these three types of DNA is going to replicate. So DNA is going to replicate how many types? Three types. Number one, conservative method. Number two, semi-conservative method. Number three, diffusion method. So among these three, which one is suitable for our life form or our actual DNA replication? So entirely after the complete research studies, our scientist has clearly stated that semi-conservative method is very suitable for replication of our DNA. So what do you understand, or what we know that how what is in the process of semi-conservative, how DNA strands is going to act? So in the semi-conservative replication, as the newly synthesized DNA has one half of the parental DNA and one half of new DNA strand. So newly formed DNA contain two strands. Between these two strands, one is from parental DNA and another one is newly formed DNA strand. So this method we can call as semi-conservative method of replication. Semi-conservative method of DNA replication. Am I clear? Is it visible, this slide? Okay. So this is one of the model of how DNA going to replicate replication through semi-conservative method. Okay. So this is DNA double strand. This is DNA double
Sir,
strand.
you stopped the presenting, sir.
Sir, we cannot see your screen, sir.
You're not visible on my screen?
No, sir.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, what is going on? Now it's visible. Now the slide is visible.
Yes, sir. Now it is visible.
Okay. So
What about you
replication.
girls? Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
the slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
So this gene expression is multi-step process which involves replication, transcription, and translation. Okay. So this first step, that is the replication of DNA. So DNA replication through conservative method or semi-conservative method or diffusion method. But according to our central dogma, DNA replication definitely semi-conservative mode or semi-conservative method. In this method, two daughter cells or two identical daughter molecules of DNA possess one half belongs to parental DNA strand and one half of new DNA is formed in the new identical new daughter molecules of DNA. So this method we can call as the semi-conservative method. So this slide shows about the how replication fork is formed. So DNA is how to unwind or coiling DNA is going to uncoil this DNA, and which strand is act as a leading strand and which strand is act as a lagging strand. Okay, I will show the after explanation of the steps involved in replication. So this DNA replication, these are the three steps are involved. That is number one, initiation. This slide is visible. Initiation, elongation, termination. This slide is visible. Initiation, elongation, termination.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the first step that is Initiation. What is initiation? What is the going on? DNA replication. Initiation means replication starts. DNA replication starts. So which area or which site is suitable for the DNA replication starts? That means DNA, the double-stranded DNA possesses a specific sites. The specific sites we can call as origin. So origin that we can call as ORI site, ORI region, ORI, ORI. Okay, ORI region. ORI means origin of replication sites. Okay, origin of replication sites. So in this DNA, a specific DNA protein binds with the site of origin and separates the double-stranded DNA. We know that the DNA is coiled and double-stranded in nature. So spherical double-stranded DNA, we know that. But in the process of DNA replication, the DNA, double-stranded DNA is going to unwind, means separation of two strands. Unwind means separation of two strands of DNA results in the formation of a replication bubble with a replication fork on either strands. Okay, on either strands. A primer recognizes specific sequence of DNA in the replication bubble and binds to it. A primer recognizes specific sequence of DNA in the replication bubble and binds to it. Okay, so this slide is shows later. So in this process, some of the important enzymes are involved. Number one, helicase. This helicase, topoisomerase, and SSB proteins are visible. Slide.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, helicase. Okay, helicase is an enzyme. Helicase is an enzyme. This helicase enzyme is suitable or involved in the unwinds the DNA helix by breaking the hydrogen bonds between the base pairs. So nitrogen base pairs consist hydrogen bonds. You know that. So purines and pyrimidines, we know that adenine always paired with thymine in DNA. Guanine always paired with cytosine. So adenine and thymine, between these two nitrogen bases, how many hydrogen bonds are present? Anybody? Two hydrogen bonds. Very good. Excellent. And at the same time, guanine and cytosine. Between these two nitrogen base pairs, three hydrogen bonds, we know that consist three hydrogen bonds. These hydrogen bonds are breaking by DNA helicase. So helicase is used for unwinds the DNA helix by breaking the hydrogen bonds between the nitrogen base pairs. So nitrogen base pairs between these two nitrogen base pairs or between nitrogen base pairs, hydrogen bonds are cut down by the which enzyme? Helicase. So this is the first most important enzyme, you know that. At the same time, the topoisomerase enzyme. So topoisomerase enzyme is the nature, it consists, the nature is negative supercoils and relieve the strains in the double helix at either end of the bubble. Topoisomerase. Okay, topoisomerase enzymes introduce negative supercoils. Actually, DNA is already, we know that, spherical and double helix nature. So this topoisomerase introduce negative supercoils, which means the two strands are unable to going to combine or spherical or helical structure and relieve strains in the double helix at the either end of the bubble. This is the second enzyme. The third enzyme SSB proteins. That we can know that single strands binding proteins. So these single strand binding proteins are more important for the stabilization of the single strands, thus preventing them to jib back together. Generally, see here, this is looks like a jib, you know. So this slide is visible, the DNA structure. So these rounded globular structure, red color regions we are observed on the surface of the DNA, you know, that proteins we can call as single strands binding proteins. Single strand binding proteins. So these single strand binding proteins which are useful for unjib. Unjib means does not going to close. It is always opens the DNA strands. So two DNA strands is going to open. Okay, that is the most important point of this important of these functions of SSB proteins, single strands binding proteins. So these single strand binding proteins are stability to the stability of the single strands. Actually, DNA is double strands nature. So double strand nature, then automatically DNA is going to bind or jib back together. But if the jib back together, the capacity or the properties or the characteristic features of DNA is going to prevent or jib back together or unjib. Okay, so that is the most important characteristic feature of these SSB proteins. Okay, so this is about the first step. So in the first step, what we are observed, Amma? So specific sites, we know that we can call as Ori region or Ori site, that is origin of replication site. At that site, DNA proteins binds the site of origin and separates the double-stranded DNA. This separation of two strands of DNA results in the formation of a replication bubble with a replication fork on either strands. The primer recognizes specific sequence of DNA in the replication bubble and binds to it. Okay. Then the three enzymes are involved in the initiation process. That is helicase, topoisomerase, and SSB proteins, single strand binding proteins. So these are the most important enzymes involved in the initiation process. Then the second step, that is elongation. The second step of DNA replication, we know that is elongation. So in this elongation, DNA polymerase 3 binds to the template strands at the 3' end of the RNA primer and starts polymerizing the nucleotides. So which enzyme binds of the template strand at the 3' end? DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3, which is useful for binds to the template strand at the 3' end of the RNA primer and starts polymerizing the nucleotides. So these elongation process, we are observed in DNA two strands. One is the template strand, one is the leading strand, the another one is the lagging strand. So both these strands are proceeds from 5' end to 3' end, but that is towards the replication fork. At the same time, that is away from the replication fork. That is the most important. But the template strand should be the whether the leading strand or lagging strand that proceeds from 5' end to 3' end direction, 5 to 3' direction. This is very, very important, my dear friends. Okay, so the first one is the leading strand. Polymerization of nucleotides proceeds in 5 to 3' direction towards the replication fork without interruption. So leading strand, it is the continuous, the nucleotides is going to bind and without any interruption. Okay, so the replication fork without any interruption. But whereas the second strand, that is the lagging strand, that is also proceeds from 5' to 3' direction, but that is away from the replication fork in in this lagging strand, number of DNA fragments we are absorbed on the logging strand. These DNA fragments are pieces of DNA we can call as Okazaki fragments. What we can say that? Anybody?
Okazaki fragments.
Yes, very good. Okazaki belongs to which word? Which term? It's derived from Japan. Okazaki. Okay, so these Okazaki fragments we are absorbed in leading strand or lagging strand? Lagging strand only, not leading strand. Leading strand does not possess any interruption. So without interruption, the leading strand goes on. But whereas the lagging strand, number of DNA fragments or pieces of DNA we are absorbed from the replication fork, that DNA fragments or pieces of DNA we can call as the Okazaki fragments. So as the DNA polymerase reaches the 5' end of the RNA primer of the next Okazaki fragment, it dissociates and reassociates at the 3' end of the primer. My dear friend, listen carefully this point. So DNA polymerase reaches at the 5' end of the RNA primer of the next Okazaki fragment. And it dissociates, reassociate at the 3' end of the primer. So I will show here. So this slide is visible, DNA 4 and there is unwinded DNA. It is visible. Anybody? One person respond, one student. This slide, this image is visible.
Yes, sir.
So this image, so this is leading strand. This is leading strand. So this leading strand towards the replication fork, it from 5' end to 3' end without any interruption. Whereas see here, from this away from the replication fork, this is replication fork, you know. So this away from replication fork, so 5' end to 3' end, number of pieces of DNA fragments or DNA pieces we are absorbed. So these fragments or pieces we can call as the Okazaki fragments. Okazaki fragments. So here, so 5' end to 3' end. At the same time, RNA primer starts from 5' end to 3' end. So each fragment or each piece starts from 5' to 3'. It is a continuation process. Okay. Then, so afterwards, the DNA polymerase 1 enzyme involved in the elongation process. So first in elongation process, DNA polymerase 3 involved. Okay. Afterwards, DNA polymerase 1 involved to remove the DNA primers and fills in with DNA, especially in lagging strand, my dear friends. So DNA polymerase 1 remove the RNA primers. Where is RNA primers? I will show. See here, this black rounded structures, globular structures we are observed, you know. So this we can call as RNA primers. These RNA primers are removed by DNA polymerase 1. Am I clear? RNA primers are removed by DNA polymerase 1 enzyme. Is it clear? Nobody can respond.
Girls, what happened? Why you people are not responding?
I hope, are you follow my class?
Yes, sir.
Is it bore?
Sir, I already this topic is covered by Rajni madam in the class.
Okay,
Am I
that's
clear,
why-
girls?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
Yes,
that's-
it is finished by Rajni madam. No, in the class replication, DNA
Yes,
replication.
ma'am.
Then
That's
why are you
what-
not answering?
That's why I'm asking to recapitulate these important terms, not only in the theory examination, but also it is very, very important for all competitive examinations. Molecular biology, whether the genetics or molecular biology or microbiology or cell biology, whatever it may be. So botany, plant sciences. So these are most important. The enzymes also most important. The functions
Yes,
of
sir.
enzymes
Yes, sir.
also most important. Okay, my dear friends, the
Continue, sir.
DNA polymerase 1 enzymes involve the remove of the RNA primers for filled with the DNA fragments. So the gaps we are observing the lagging strands, lagging strands between the Okazaki fragments, the space, the area, the gap is filled with these enzymes. So that's why DNA polymerase 1 removes the RNA primer. Then the another most important ligase enzyme seals the nicks and connects the Okazaki fragments, DNA ligase. So ligase is an enzyme. Also we can call as chemical switches, chemical switches. DNA ligase means ligase which is useful for the switches. Switches, whenever the surgery takes place, how many switches we are asking, like that. At the same time, ligase acts like that. So DNA ligase is going to bind the Okazaki fragments. Okay. So that's why ligase we can call it DNA ligases, we can call as chemical switches. Afterwards, helicase enzyme. Helicase is an enzyme continues to unwind the DNA into 2 single strands ahead of the 4, while topoisomerases relieves the supercoiling caused by this process. Okay. Then the last step of this DNA replication, that is termination. Okay, I don't want to take much more time. Very little bit of time. I will sum up this DNA replication, and next topic we'll start. The termination is the third step of the DNA replication. So this termination occurs when DNA replication forks meet one another or run to the end of a linear DNA molecule. Also, termination may occur when a replication fork is stopped by a replication terminator protein. Whenever the replication terminator protein is occurred at that place, then automatically the DNA replication is going to stop. Then DNA ligase fills up the gaps between the Okazaki fragments. If, my dear friends, I am asking once again, the entire DNA replication process, we are observed in which phase in cell cycle? Anybody can respond.
S phase.
Yes, very good. S phase. So S phase is the subphase of the interphase. S is the subphase of the interphase. So synthetic phase or synthesis phase. So DNA synthetic phase, So that phase, this DNA replication is completely we are observed. At the same time, if any mistakes or damage occurs, we know that DNA, we know that cell checkpoints or cell regulation, we know that we are already discussed, checkpoints. So checkpoints is there now. At the same time, DNA repairing mechanism. So repairing mechanism is also there. If mistakes or damage occurs, enzymes such as a nuclease will remove the incorrect DNA. Okay, DNA polymerase will then fill it the gap. So the damaged area or the damaged fragments is removed by nuclease enzyme. At the same time, after the removal of that incorrect regions of the DNA is filled with DNA polymerase. The gap is filled with DNA polymerase enzyme. Okay, so that this is about the termination of the DNA replication process. Then the second series of the gene expression, that is the transcription. Okay, transcription. I hope this slide is visible. Transcription. Okay, so transcription. Where it occurs, my dear friends, in eukaryotes, transcription is occurred the nuclear region, nucleus region. We are observed this transcription, whereas translation we are observed in cytoplasm of all cells, whether the prokaryotes or eukaryote. Translation process we are observed in cytoplasm. So transcription takes place nucleus. So the transcription is the process through which a DNA sequence is enzymatically copied by an RNA polymerase to produce a complementary RNA, or in other words, the transfer of genetic information from DNA to RNA. So that RNA we can also call as DNA dependent RNA. So this RNA we can call as DNA dependent RNA. Am I clear? So RNA is synthesized on the basis of genetic information. On the basis of which information? Genetic information from DNA. So that's why this RNA we can call as DNA dependent RNA. It is nothing but mRNA. It is nothing but mRNA. M means messenger RNA. M means messenger RNA. mRNA, messenger RNA. So this messenger RNA is originates or synthesized from DNA on the basis of genetic information of DNA. So this entire process we are observing nucleus. Okay. Then see here. So I hope this slide is visible. This slide is visible. See here, this is a double stranded DNA. Am I clear? Double stranded DNA. This is the 5' end and this is the 3' end. So transcription start here. So this is the transcription start here. And here RNA polymerase is an enzyme. RNA polymerase is an enzyme. So here the single strand is synthesized. It depends upon the DNA, genetic material of the genetic information of the DNA. So this is RNA. The blue color region is RNA strand. RNA strand. So transcription is also having how many steps or how many stages? Like DNA replication? 3 stages. How many stages? 3 stages. Okay. DNA replication is also 3 stages. What are the 3 stages?
Initiation, elongation, termination.
Termination. Like DNA replication. So DNA replication is also process these 3 steps or 3 stages: initiation, elongation, and termination. At the same time, here also initiation step, elongation step, and termination stages we are observed. So the first step is initiation. So transcription also possesses these 3 stages. The first stage is initiation. In this initiation, RNA polymerase is an enzyme which enzyme recognizes and binds to a specific region in the DNA called promoter. What do you understand about the promoter? Promoter is nothing but a specific region in the DNA. Okay, specific region in the DNA we can call as DNA promoter. See here, I will show once again. See here, this is the promoter region. Because of this is the RNA polymerase enzyme, you know. So DNA polymerase is an enzyme. It is
Promoter.
recognizes the binds to a specific region. That region we can call as DNA promoter. Okay. So there are 2 different base sequences on the coding strand which the RNA polymerase recognizes for initiation. So how many different sequences are here? 2. How many? 2 different base sequences on the coding strand. So the first one is Pribnow box. Is also we can call as Tata box. What we can say that? Tata box. It consists how many nucleotides or nucleotide bases or nitrogen bases? Remember, 6 nucleotide bases are there. Not base pairs, my dear friends. 6 base pairs are there. Or 6 nucleotide bases are located on the left side, about 10 bases upstream from the starting point of the transcription. So DNA consists the starting point of the transcription. So above these 10 base upstream, Tata box we are observed. So this Tata box consists 6 nucleotide bases. What are they? What are they? TA, TA, AT. Okay. TA, TA, AT. What do you observe? What do you understand about T? T means thiamine, adenine, thiamine, adenine, you know. So that's why this we can also call Tata box. This is also we can call as Pribnow box. Okay. Where is it is located, Amma? Tata box located in which side? Left side. About the 10 base upstream. 10 bases upstream of the starting point of the DNA transcription. Tata box is located left side about the 10 bases upstream from the starting point of the transcription. It is very, very important. Okay, Tata box is also we can call as Pribnow box. It possesses 6 nucleotide bases, that is TA, TA, AT. Okay, it is located at the left side about the 10 bases upstream from the starting point of the transcription. Okay, next the 35 sequence. The 35 sequence. First one is the Pribnow box, that is the Tata box sequence. The second one is the 35 or 35 sequence. This is the second recognition site in the promoter region of the DNA and contains a base sequence, that is TTGACA. In earlier one, what are the nitrogen bases or nucleotide base spaces are there? TA, 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 AT. Whereas this the 35 sequence or 35 sequence, it is the second recognition site of the promoter region. This is the 35 sequence is also possess 6 nucleotide bases. They are TTGACA. This is most important. In earlier one, TA, TA, AT. This is TTGACA. Okay, which is located about 35 bases upstream of the transcription starting point. In earlier one, that is Pribnow box or Tata box is located right side or left side of the transcription starting point? Left side. Left side of the how many nitrogen bases upstream? 10 bases upstream. But whereas in this is the 35 sequence second recognition site is located, or TTGAC located at left side of the 35 bases upstream. Okay, 35 bases upstream of the transcription starting points. And the next one is the closed complex. So this closed complex RNA polymerase. RNAP means RNA polymerase. So this closed complex RNA polymerase binds to double-stranded DNA, and this structure is called closed complex. Okay, RNA polymerase binds to double-stranded DNA, and this structure is called closed complex. Closed complex. Then what about open complex? So closed complex, we know that whenever the RNA polymerase binds to double-stranded DNA, the structure we can call as a closed complex. Whereas open complex means after binding of RNA polymerase, the DNA double helix is partially unwound and becomes single strand. In the vicinity of the initiation site, this structure is called open complex. This structure we can call as open complex. See here, this region, this slide is visible. The image, DNA double-stranded DNA image slide is visible. See here, this RNA polymerase after binds this DNA site, this region we can call as open complex. Whereas this region we can call as closed complex. Closed complex. Open complex and closed complex. So this unwinded becomes single stranded in the vicinity of the initiation site. This structure is called open complex. See here. So this is single strand and this is a single strand. So this single strand region we can call as open complex. Okay. Then the second step of this DNA transcription, that is elongation. Elongation. First one is initiation. The second one is elongation. So second stage is elongation. So first stage, what we are understood, Amma? Anybody can tell? First one, first step, what we are understood about this initiation of the DNA transcription. So in this initiation of the DNA transcription, RNA polymerase recognize the specific sites that we can call as the DNA, that DNA site we can call as promoter. Okay, promoter. Then there are two different base sequence on the coding strand. That is the number one, Pribno box. Okay. And the second one is 35 sequence. Okay. At the same time, we are observed closing complex, closed complex, and open complex. Open complex. Then the next step of the stage of this DNA transcription, that is elongation, transcription. So this in this transcription, the elongation process is the second stage, and this is the very important stage. After initiation, elongation has started. This RNA synthesis then proceed with addition of ribonucleotides. We know that ribonucleotides, what are the ribonucleotides, my dear friends? ATP, GTP, CTP, and UTP. What is the this abbreviation of this ATP, GTP, CTP, UTP? Anybody can? Anybody? ATP. You know that. You know. We know very well about ATP.
Adenosine triphosphate.
Adenosine
Adenosine
triphosphate.
triphosphate.
Adenosine triphosphate. Then what about GTP? Guanosine triphosphate. Yes. Then what about CTP?
Cytosine
triphosphate.
Then UTP?
Uracil triphosphate.
Yes. Some of the friends is asking me, sir, actually we know that adenine, guanine, thymine, and cytosine. What about uracil? What about how uracil is occurred? Just because of, see here, in this elongation process. What elongation? RNA strand is elongation. Elongation process means the strand of the RNA. The RNA strand, single strand of the RNA is going to elongation process. How to, this strand is enlarged? Just because of the addition of the ribonucleotides. The ribonucleotides are ATPs, GTPs, CTPs, and UTPs. So RNA possess uracil. You know that RNA possess uracil instead of thymine. Thymine is replaced by uracil. You know that. So that's why UTP is one of the ribonucleotide which is possessed on RNA strand. So these are the building units of RNA strand. So the addition of these nucleotides, RNA strand is going to enlarge our elongation process as continuation. So one DNA strand called the template strand serves as the matrix for the RNA synthesis. So one DNA strand is act as a template strand, serves as the matrix for the RNA synthesis. So based on the genetic information of the DNA, RNA is going to synthesize. So that's why this RNA we can call as DNA dependent RNA. DNA dependent RNA. Why we can say that? Because of this RNA is synthesized from DNA. So DNA template, one DNA strand is act as a template strand for the synthesis of RNA strand. Okay, that's why this RNA we can call as DNA dependent RNA. Okay. Then RNA polymerase enzymes. This slide is visible. This slide is visible. This RNA polymerase enzymes transcribe RNA in anti-parallel direction. That is 5 prime to 3 prime. 5 prime to 3 prime. Transcription proceeds in complementary way. That is, see here, guanine in DNA leads to cytosine in RNA. We know that because of both they are complementary in nature, complementary in nature. So automatically guanine always paired with cytosine. Then cytosine is always paired with guanine. So the guanine in DNA, whereas cytosine in RNA. In the second point, cytosine in DNA, whereas guanine in RNA. Am I clear? So this is anti-parallel in nature. So guanine DNA, guanine is a nitrogen base present in DNA, whereas the guanine is present RNA standard also. So this anti-parallel nature, the DNA consists, the guanine is going to leads to cytosine, whereas cytosine in DNA leads to guanine in RNA. Then automatically thymidine in DNA leads to adenine in RNA. But thymidine in DNA is replaced by uracil. We know that thymidine or thiamine is replaced by uracil in RNA. RNA does not possess thymidine, So on the place of thymidine, uracil is present. So uracil in RNA, as consequence, the adenine in DNA shows up for uracil in RNA. Then, so how many RNA polymerases are? We know that. So different types of the RNA polymerases. RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 3. So what are the main function of this RNA polymerase 1, 2, 3? So 1 is located in the nucleolus. What about I'm saying? Nucleolus. RNA polymerase 1 is located in the nucleolus and transcribes ribosomal RNA. That is rRNA. Then what about the RNA polymerase 2? Is localized to the nucleus and transcribes messenger RNA, that is mRNA, and most smaller nuclear RNAs. That we can say that snRNAs. snRNA means small nuclear RNAs. Not mRNA, not tRNA, not rRNA. This is small nuclear RNAs. That is snRNAs. Then RNA polymerase 3. It is localized to the nucleus and possibly the nucleolar. That is nucleoplasm interface and transcribes tRNA and other small RNAs. So this rRNA transcribed by RNA polymerase 1. So this mRNA is transcribed by RNA polymerase 2. Then tRNA and other small RNAs are transcribed by RNA polymerase 3. Is it clear? Okay. Then the third step and the last step of the DNA transcription, that is termination. So two termination mechanisms are well known. That is intrinsic termination. That is row independent termination. Okay, row independent termination. Okay, then the second type of termination, row dependent termination. So how many types of the terminations we know that? Anybody? Row independent termination, row dependent termination. So what we are understand? So that we can, that is nothing but row independent termination. We can also call intrinsic termination. This termination, terminator sequences within the RNA that signal the RNA polymerase to stop. The terminator sequence is usually a palindromic sequence that forms a stem loop hairpin structure that leads to the dissociation of the RNA polymerase from the DNA template. For example, GCC, 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 G. So this palindromic sequence are nothing but the pairing sequences. That is we can say that the terminals, which is sticky terminals, which is we can also call as sticky, which possess sticky terminals. Then the RNA polymerase fails to proceed beyond this point, and the nascent DNA RNA hybrid dissociates. The second type of termination, that is row dependent termination. So in this row factor, to stop RNA synthesis at specific sites. Rho means it is a factor, it is the stop of the RNA synthesis at specific sites. So this we can call as row dependent termination. First one is the row independent termination, that is intrinsic termination. The second one is the row dependent termination. That means row factor going to stop the RNA synthesis at a specific sites. So this protein binds and runs along the mRNA towards the RNA polymerase when row factor. This P means row means. P means row. We can read that row. So row factor reaches the RNA polymerase. It causes RNA polymerase to dissociate from the DNA and terminates the transcription. And also the termination of this RNA polymerase or RNA synthesis, post-transcriptional modifications also we are observed. So this post-transcriptional modifications and translation we will going to discuss tomorrow. I will stop here. If you have any doubt regarding of this DNA replication and DNA transcription process. In this DNA transcription, mRNA synthesized. If you have any doubt, please ask me.
Girl, this is a very, very, very important question. Okay? What do you mean by transcription? It's a type question. Or how mRNA is synthesized from DNA. How mRNA is synthesized? I'm asking you the question, girls. How mRNA is synthesized? From where it is synthesized?
From DNA.
Yes, from the DNA. From one of the strand of the DNA, mRNA is going to be synthesized with the help of the enzymes. What sir told just now. What are those enzymes?
Polymerase enzyme.
What polymerase?
RNA.
Yeah, RNA polymerases. Okay, it is RNA polymerase 1, 2 and 3. These are the three polymerases which are going to synthesize the required enzymes or the required mRNA which is useful for translation. Am I clear, girls? So this is
Yes,
all
ma'am.
the process. Yeah, sir is going to explain the process how the mRNA is going to be synthesized. That is the genetic message which is present in the DNA, how the genetic message is transcribed to the mRNA molecule. That sir is going to continue in tomorrow's class. Am I clear? Sir, thank you very much, sir. You are making it as simple as such, but our students are in a sleepy mode.
But I hope our students are very clever students. They know very well about this DNA replication because of they are studied well. At the same time, DNA, the transcription, in this transcription process, how mRNA strand or mRNA molecule synthesized from DNA.
Already our BHC students have covered this topic in zoology, sir.
Yeah. So that's why in our botany they are very easily understood about the entire process of the DNA replication, even the transcription, afterwards translation process.
Yeah. Only poor thing is our FNBC students, for them might be this is a new topic. Yes, girls? FNBC students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, this for them it is a new topic, sir. But for our BHC students, they already learned this in our in their second year in zoology.
Oh, this is recapitulation class.
Yeah, recapitulation for BHC students. Amma
Okay.
BJC students, tomorrow you people have to just go through everything and come. Sir will be asking questions.
Yes,
that
definitely,
way-
definitely. I will ask some of the questions related
Yeah.
to DNA replication at the same time transcription also. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What is
Yes,
Tata
sir.
box? What is Pribno box? Or the 35? Like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, which type of nucleotides? How many nucleotides? Nucleotide bases are present. So
Yes,
that
sir. Yes, sir.
questions will going to pose. Okay.
Definitely you people have
Okay.
to answer, ma. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good
Right.
night.
Thank you, madam, and thank you, my dear friends. Thank you. Good night.
Yeah. Girls.